Welcome to Invest in Yourself, the Digital Entrepreneur Podcast. Join the podcast mogul Phil Better as he interviews successful entrepreneurs that make their living in the digital world. Now, let's join your host, Phil Better, and his special guest today on Invest in Yourself, the Digital Entrepreneur Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Invest in Yourself, the Digital Entrepreneur Podcast. I am, of course, your host with the most, Phil Better, and today, pardon me, losing my voice there. I'm excited to have the creator of, I just forgot the name of it. Oh, I feel horrible, Dustin.
Gym Reinforcements. I'll save you. I'll throw you a bone.
Thank you, Dustin. It's Gym Reinforcement, the creator, founder of Gym Reinforcement, Dustin Bogle. Dustin, thank you so much for saving me and throwing me that bone. Yeah. I feel like a horrible host now.
No problem. But actually, it comes natural to me because that's what I do for a living in the fitness community is I save people from lifestyle-related diseases. So I'm used to throwing out lifesavers, man, and helping people. So don't worry about it. It comes natural.
Already providing value right off the bat here. Dustin, could you just give us a quick introduction about yourself so my audience can know more about you?
Yeah. So super excited to be here. Thank you, Phil. And essentially, I'm very neck deep in the fitness industry. And that started back in high school when I was actually overweight. And we all hear these, taglines like your mess will become your message and your trial will become your triumph. Well, when I was in high school, I was tipping the scales at 260 pounds and that's not far from 300. And so essentially what I was a very introverted guy. I'd hide in the corners of the lunch quad and I would read my video game magazines and I had a hood on and I wanted to be invisible. I didn't want to look at anybody in the eye and I was trying to hide from the world. And as a reflection of how I felt in my body, I wasn't proud of what I was walking around in every day, this meat wagon. And so one day somebody tapped me on the shoulder, a buddy in my class, and said, I'm going to the gym. Would you like to come with me? And it felt very, warm. It felt very organic. It didn't feel like he was saying to me, you're fat. He was just like, hey, man, I want to hang out. Let's do something after school. And so I took him up on it and we did a standard meathead workout. All right. You guys know my guys, it's chest and bicep. That's your meathead workout. Just chest and bicep, those good muscles flowing. And I'll tell you, it felt like I was on drugs. The endorphins I got, the pump I felt in my arms, I just got this immediate lift. And I said, oh my God, what have I discovered? This is the best thing ever. And the best part is it's natural and it's free and it's something you can do every day and it has a ton of benefits. And I committed to go to the gym with him every day for 6 months straight. And I proceeded to lose 60 pounds of body fat. So I got down to 200 pounds. I had visible abs. And I was just super proud of what I carved out and I did with hard work and dedication. And the next step in the journey was like, now I did that for myself. I want to do that for others. And that was the day that I decided to become a certified trainer and give people the gift of health and fitness. Fast forward a little bit from there, went on to open a gym, got really aggressive and opened 6 gyms in 6 years. And that really humbled me. I learned a lot of crazy lessons about, scaling a brick and mortar business and some of them good and some of them not so good. And we can dive into that. But then the final part to this journey is decided to help all my fellow gym owners and start a company called Gym Reinforcements a few years ago, where we do all their follow-up. We get into their CRM, we call, we text, we email to move those leads into their gym so that they can save them and change their lives as well. And so I wanted to amplify those skills that I gathered from opening multiple gyms as well. So that's kind of from like guy overweight high school to now multiple 7-figure business owner, all neck deep in the fitness industry in a short time span. So hopefully that was the condensed version for your audience.
That was a great, just like it also gave us your why you want to help people because you saw the benefit for yourself and you wanted to help others with your gyms, and then you realized how much powerful having gyms are and you want to help others. It's just, I love that you're out there helping people take their life not only to the next level, but their businesses to the next level. These entrepreneurs need the help. They can't always be there following up, and you have someone like you, Gym Reinforcement, doing all the work because you've done it. You've scaled. So you're like, I'm just going to help you with what I know. You do the day-to-day, I'll handle the big stuff. And I love that.
Thank you.
So your why was because you wanted to feel better. Obviously the working out made you feel better. What led you to decide to do the back end for business owners?
At the end of the day, I saw like, hey, I'm growing successful gyms, but this is not fast enough. If I'm going to really make an impact and a dent in what's going on, I don't know if your audience knows these statistics, but they recently released from the CDC, we are on track to be 50% obese in the US by the year 2030, which is not far away. And globally, the global population is on track to be obese by the year 2035. So the U.S. is leading the way, and not a good way, and that is leading the charge of obesity. And so, it's terrible. There's many times I run into people in our gyms that are like, I'm here because somebody died at 56, and that's just too damn young. And I know people are dying in their 30s and 40s, and like, it's too young. There's too many preventable diseases going on out there, and that means preventable. That like, if you just made different choices in your life, you would be still around for more decades. And so these are things that I don't think people are really paying attention to, that these small decisions, what you decide to put in your mouth, what you decide to put into your head, dude, what you listen to and watch, and what you decide to do with this meat wagon called your body, all can literally translate to more decades on this earth. Who doesn't want that? And again, sometimes we choose those comfortable decisions like sitting or eating something that tastes good or watching garbage. And you do that day after day, and you're stacking the cards against you. So we really are at war with obesity here on our soil. And I look at gyms as forward operating bases, and coaches and gym owners are the soldiers on the front lines. And every session they run is a battle for someone's health mentally and physically. And so this is like a big cause, a big mission that I'm fighting for, because it's really sad to see that we're at this place that Wall-E, that movie that everybody knows, the whole world is obese,
Oh
and
God.
that's coming to truth. Like Disney was projecting the future, and it's coming true, and we have to do something about it. Otherwise, we're going to be in a bad place real soon.
I love that, and it's true. I went from 300 pounds at the end of 2019, and just healthy, walking and intermittent fasting, taking care of what I put into my body. I was able to shed 100 pounds, and I've never felt better. I'm planning on
Wow.
going to the gym. Thank
Well
you,
done.
thank you. So I feel a kinship. I didn't go to the gym. I tried to go to the gym, but it never really worked for me because I didn't have the basis. I didn't have the idea that I have to go out the door and walk. Just do the walking first, and then the endorphins pop up, and I can't wait to get to the gym and start pumping iron again and toning the meat wagon that I have so that I can one day have abs. I've never had abs as a human, and I just want the outline. I'll just take the outline, of having abs, but oh, I'm pretty sure if I come out there, I'll come back with like a six pack from God. Um, but Dustin, how did you decide that you wanted to transition from owning gyms to helping gym owners? Like, what was that point in your career?
Yes. So essentially it came down to like, I can't open enough gyms. Like they're like, I don't have the speed to get ahead of this giant cause. So the way to kind of implement my systems into all the gyms and just get, integrated in all the gyms, because I don't see other gyms as competitors. I see them as like brothers and sisters in this war. I'm like, if I can help them affect more lives, that's the only way we're going to do something about this before it gets too late. I just can't open 1,000 gyms, across the America in time to do anything about this. So that was the pivot. Also, I really like the sales component of it. Like I always felt like I was a great coach, and I can really pour into somebody and help somebody and make them feel great. But I loved getting on the phone and connecting with somebody. And I liked hearing what their story was, what they tried, how we can affect them and make their life better and impact them. And I just like that whole conversation, being on the phone or talking belly to belly and helping somebody to come to the decision to join our program. So then it was very easy skill set wise for me to train a team of salespeople to do this, because people follow the leader, and what I'm most excited about will translate down to the team. And so if I'm very excited about sales and follow up and changing someone's life, and how that one call, kind of like that guy that tapped me on the shoulder and invited me to the gym, that's the equivalent of these phone calls. Is like, I just feel like I'm doing 1 million of these a day. I'm tapping people on the shoulder and saying, come on into the gym, let us help you. That is why I get really fired up about gym reinforcements and helping other gyms, because that is going to allow us to amplify our impact across the country.
Oh, I love that. And When you started doing this, transitioning from opening your gyms to helping other gym owners with their system, handling the harder work, getting those leads into, did you see an open door? Like, were most gyms open to having you work with them, or was it more of a I had to sell them on the idea?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, we often have a fulfillment problem. Like people are embracing us with open arms, which is cool, but at the same time, now I'm running into a new level of like issues, which is like, hey, I can't find a good enough sales, fast enough finding good salespeople to fulfill on the demand, which is a good problem, but also again frustrating, which I'm sure other business owners can kind of like resonate with, but essentially what it comes down to is that this is a critical part of the business. We all know we need marketing to bring in leads. We need fulfillment or product to deliver on what was promised. And we need salespeople to close. But so many people sleep on follow-up. And we hear phrases like the fortune's in the follow-up and, dial for dollars. And so I just made it its own like position in the company. Right. And so we all know like marketing, sales, but like, well, what about follow-up? And people would say, hey, well, that's on sales. If they have a full day of sales calls, they're not doing any follow-up. They're just executing sales. So they almost need, like, it doesn't have to even be a setter. You just need someone nurturing, a lead nurturer, nurturing the leads. And so essentially they are very open to our service because most owners, this is not in their 5% of like, high value tasks, and no one on their team's good at it. Again, in the gym space, coaches don't want to be on phones and admins don't want to be on phones. So when they hear that we have a service that just comes right into this area where there's a big need, they're definitely excited about it. But to be honest, this just because I want to make sure the listeners, like if you're not gym owner fitness, I don't want you to tune out. This applies to all business sectors. In fact, a quick story I'll share with you, Phil, is we are getting a pool built. And so we're like 2/3 of the way done. But when I was shopping around, I called 5 pool companies one day. The first 3 never picked up. And guess what? They never even called me back to this day. So 0 follow-up by them. And I'm calling them with a $100,000 job, right? Like this is a big ticket item. And they're not even calling me back, which blew my mind. And so maybe they're so busy they don't need it. I don't know. But those first three never call me back. The 4th person, he got back to me in about 3 to 4 day cycle. So if I wrote him Monday, he wrote me back Friday. And I would respond within an hour and he'd hit me back Wednesday the next day. And there was just these huge gaps. I'm like, man, if this is how it's going to be communicating with you, I don't want you to come and do my pool. So I immediately eliminated him. But here's what happened with the 5th guy. He said, I'll be at your house this afternoon. Can you meet with me in 2 hours? I said, sure. He came, he measured everything out. He said, what's your budget? I want to see if I can make you the most beautiful pool for the budget you're looking to stay within. And I don't want to go over. Gave him the budget. Awesome. Can I ask you guys to come to the office in 2 days? I'm going to have a mock-up for you. I was like, all right. Gives me the address, show up. I walk in, hands me and my wife a water bottle and a granola bar, tells us to have a seat. There's an 80-inch TV on the wall, and he presses play, and they had a full 3D mock-up rendering of this pool in our backyard that looked all lifelike. It even had like water sound effects playing because we're getting a little waterfall on it. And I was just like, oh my God, this guy took me through an experience. So of those 5 people, who do you think got the business, right? It's pretty clear, right? I signed on the dotted line with that guy.
I kind of want to say the dude who did the follow-up really quickly.
Yeah. Well, what's crazy is he didn't know this till I told him. I called 4 people before you. If any of them picked up and put me through the experience you did, they would have won the business, not you. So it's not you were the first person I called. You were the first person that I called that had the follow-up dialed in. And that's who wins the business. So that's what people are doing. When they're in pain and they need a service, they're going down a list until they hit somebody. And that's why speed to lead is critical in your business. If I can say that again, this goes to all businesses, not just gyms. Speed to lead is everything. If you want to get more business, get to them faster, and that will immediately turn your business around. You'll see a lot more sales come in.
See, I was going to ask you for a tip, and you just already provided us one. That's huge. It's huge. So I want to ask you about a story or a memory that you have, either something that you were able to accomplish thanks to your business, or from helping someone reach their goal, reach the success that they were happy with. Do you have any stories like that to share with us?
So you mean as in a gym owner that we worked with?
Yeah, a gym owner that you worked with that was able to be able to take that family vacation because you were able to do the follow up and get them more money or something along those lines.
It's funny you say that. There was a gym owner we worked with that did not take a vacation for 3 years, and he just had it on his bucket list. He wanted to take his daughters to Disney, and he said, "Man, I just can't take a break because." Oh, sorry, my dog's barking.
No
But he's like,
worries.
the minute I get I get a good coach in, another coach leaves, or the minute that I'm thinking we're going to take time off, I offer a challenge and the gym gets full, and I just can't leave these people. I got to take care of them, make sure that they're happy. And so it just kept like having a train of excuses. And so finally he hired us, and all of these things that he was doing, basically his phone was like attached to his hand. He had to always be on standby and at the ready to answer in case a lead calls. And so we were able to get him pulled out of that, and we took over his follow-up and we took over all of his admin work. And it wasn't that long. It was about 3 months later he put it on the books and he was able to go and take that Disney vacation. And the best part is he was able to actually enjoy it, because we know a lot of entrepreneurs work while they're on vacation. Uh, he actually was able to turn off his phone and be at peace that the business will run without him. And in fact, he'll come back to it and it will have grown. And that's the true acid test. If you're really a business owner or you're a business operator, an operator needs to be in the business for it to be flowing. And the minute you pull that cog out of the wheel, it can come crashing down. Business owner owns a business and they can be away from it, and it can be a living, growing organism without it. And so that's the, my goal I want everybody to move up to, because I was a business operator for a long time. And so, that's your next post that you're trying to strive for. But yeah, that was a good feeling. And that made me think like, man, I'm glad I started this service, because it's for that. It's for impact. It's to create family time. It's to give people freedom. Sure, there's money involved, but that's what people will remember more than the dollars, right? So that was really cool.
It's the feeling that you give them, and I think that's a huge testimonial to what you guys do, by just being able to change from, like you said, a business operator to a business owner. I think a lot of people, when they get into business for themselves, they don't realize that there's two levels when you start. You obviously, when you start, you have to be in the operations, you have to be there in the ground doing all the work, building it up until you can have a system to make you the owner and you can step back.
Absolutely. Yep.
Um, let's say you had to start it all over again. You're starting from scratch. What would be like your first steps? Like, what would you decide on doing? Like, let's say we're staying in the gym area. You're back at the beginning of your gym career. Is there anything you would do different?
Yeah. So shameless plug. I have a book that's dropping tomorrow called Reinforce Your Gym. And so this is literally a collection of 10 years of me being a gym owner and 20 years of being a trainer. All my best stuff, if I went back to my old self and wanted to tell them, do it this way, I put it in here. So that's the only reason you triggered me to bring that up, was like, what would I say to my old self? So this would be for a new gym owner, a trainer that's thinking of opening a gym, or an existing gym owner that wants to blow it up. And honestly, there's some great stories and tools that any business sector can use. But at the end of the day, I would say it comes down to a couple of things. First off, I didn't share this with you yet, Phil, but when I did open 6 gyms, I ended up having to close 2 and sell 1, because I got humbled by my inability to scale leadership and culture. I thought it was all about the workouts. I bought equipment, I hired coaches, and I went to the next town and looked for a lease. And then I hired coaches and I got equipment and I went to the next town. And I thought, that's all I'm selling. It's a gym. I'm a trainer. We're selling workouts, easy peasy. But no, people have personalities. There's culture, there's behaviors, there's cleanliness, there's standards, there's core values. There's so many things that I did not think about when I was just being me and running my first gym, and just thought, oh, I'm nobody special. I'm just running my gym and I'll just open more and they'll all do what I did. But wrong. You're the owner and you do things with a little extra care and a little bit of attention to detail. And your back is against the wall because you signed the lease. And so now I had these 6 leases and I did not scale culture and leadership. What happened was, at location 1, I was the magic. I was there daily. I built culture, but didn't know that word. I didn't know what I had. I didn't know what it was that made it so magical. I just know it's growing and life was good. And then I thought, I'll just do this at number 2. How hard can it be? And it wasn't so bad there. The breakdown started to show some signs at 3, because when I went to the next town, nobody from that second or third went and saw the magical first. So they didn't know what we're supposed to be doing there. What I should have did, if I can go back, is I would have had them in location 1 for an extended period of time, months, learning, training, and then transfer them and told them you're going to be at location 2. So there's some difficulties in running a brick and mortar location, especially if you want to go to multi-location. And that was like a huge learning lesson, is I didn't have a designated leader at each location. I just had staff without a upper management kind of telling everybody what to do and making sure that we're holding standards. And so that is why, those failures happen. Digital is definitely a different animal. I can hop on Zoom, I can Slack, I can stay in communication a lot more. The team is talking because we're most of us on a laptop, but in person, things really suffer if you're physically not on site. And so that was a big learning lesson that I had to have. And eventually we stabilized and we got back to growing. But that was something I didn't think about or know about as I was scaling those gyms.
I think that is a huge lesson and a great tip also for the audience to know that culture is just as important as everything else in a business. If you don't have a culture that is collaborative, looking to grow, and everybody's involved in it, you'll end up, like you said, having no magic and maybe having to close down some stores. So I'm very happy that you shared that with us. Where do you see gym reinforcement going in the next 5 to 10 years?
Yeah. So first, my flex that I like to share with everybody is we sold over $2 million in fitness programs last year. And so that's dollars we don't know if that would have been transacted without us. I'm sure some of it, but like the fact that we brought that much into the fitness industry was awesome. And our goal is to double it this year. We want to collect $4 million for gym owners and infuse more people into their gyms. And so right now, our mission is to just create healthy bodies and businesses through sales. And that is because if people buy the program at the gym, they get the healthy body. The gym gets another member. They're a healthier business. We were the vehicle, and that's sales. That's our mission statement of our company. So we're on track to hit 100 gyms by the end of 2023. And so we're really excited about that because we're not a volume business. We're not going to work with, there's over 200,000 gyms in the US. We're not looking to work with all of them. We are a little bit higher price, but you're going to get amazing service. And you also see a strong ROI. And so essentially we don't want to have a massive amount of gyms under our watch because we simply can't. We don't have the infrastructure at this time. That might change. Right now, I'm thinking more of working with less and delivering a better service. So that's what we're aiming for, is to get to 100 gyms by the end of the year and to collect $4 million in sales for those gyms as well.
I think that's a very achievable goal since you've already hit 2 million. Doubling that won't be an issue. And I love the idea that you're staying small for right now and you're building it properly so that you have that structure that can then, you learned the lesson from the first half of your career in the gym world, right? Scaling too fast ain't the best. So I love how you're building the culture. And how are you going about building the culture in this digital type business?
Yeah, I think as I work more from home, I'm actually better built for online and digital businesses. Like it just works better for me, and the tools that I'm on Slack, I'm on Zoom, I'm on email, I'm using these things. But definitely, there's nothing like being in person with your team. And so essentially, we plan a lot of fun things with our team that's non-work related. So we've done like digital escape rooms on Zoom, and we've done like game show where they have like, they'll bring in a host and one person's doing 10 minutes of Wheel of Fortune, the next person's doing 10 minutes of Jeopardy, and the team gets to just have fun playing the game together. So that's the stuff I always enjoyed, was getting people together and having a laugh and like taking our work hat off and spending time together. So these are some things we do, but we also do a lot of other small things that I think help with the day-to-day. So we have, our full team Slack channel. It's a sales company. So we're all flexing what sales we got so we can compete and talk smack. And that's just fun to do, to pull out that competitiveness. We have monthly awards for achieving, sales targets. And then of course we also want to give, personalized praise and appreciation when somebody has a birthday, a team anniversary, when they've been with the company for a year. Really cool to see. I got multiple people that have been with us 2 to 3 years. So yeah, I think again, it's about just really showing people appreciation. And I'm the type of guy that, to be honest, forgets about that stuff. Like, I'm just very task driven and results driven and like on to the next thing. So I had to build it into a system that's worked for me and the rest of the team. And so that those are the things that we do to drive culture. Just show people recognition, appreciation, celebrate the big days that are important to them, plan non-work gatherings, and just talk smack and be competitive. Those are what we're doing to drive culture.
I love that. It's a very basic to drive culture. It's just to create an environment where people want to be there. So I love that you're doing that. And I love that you shared that with us. We are coming to the end, which I hate because it flew by. 30 minutes flies by too fast. So we're going to jump to the spark question of the show. And I'm very interested to have your answer to this, because you did have this nice journey from someone who was overweight as a child to where you are now, helping hundreds of people get out of that world of being overweight. In what way has your life exceeded your expectations?
Man, that is a very big, wide-ranging question. But I would say that where it exceeded my expectations was actually, this is not a business answer, but it's being a parent. And I'm a guy, and I don't show my emotions as much as I probably should. But the 2 times that I physically could not stop myself was watching the birth of my kids and watching them grow. And actually, I'm very white belt minded, where I try to learn from them because they see things without all the social, influence and society norms pushed on them. And so they blow my mind with their observations and the way that they see the world. And so they really exceed my expectations and make me see things differently. But yeah, the day that my son was born, I got dizzy, like just out of nowhere. Like, I'm just standing here talking to you, and then suddenly I'm lightheaded, and the nurses had to come and put my head between my knees. And I'm like, what the heck happened? They're like, oh yeah, that happens all the time. I was like, what? Not to me. I'm one of these tough guys, but it happened. And then the same with my daughter, but this time my legs literally wobbled. Like, again, I don't know how to explain this stuff, but my knees literally buckled and I wobbled and I fell down to my knees. And so yeah, that would be the answer to that question.
Damn, those are some big moments. And yeah, I can see how it could exceed your expectations, your life, with having the birth of your children and that. Dustin, I'm going to jump off stage here. I want you to tell my audience where they can connect with you, how they can work with you if they're gym owners and looking to scale their business. So the floor is yours, sir.
Thank you. So yes, appreciate your guys' time and attention. I know it's valuable. If you are a gym owner, definitely buy my book, Reinforce Your Gym. And if you're just interested in sales and marketing, you'll find some gems there too. I do have a free Facebook group. If you go to Facebook and just search Gym Reinforcements, it'll pop right up. We only let gym owners in. So again, just to non-gym owners, don't try to join. We're not going to accept. And then if you want to follow me, the 2 social media profiles I'm most active on is my Instagram, Facebook. Just search Dustin Bogle. And then finally, podcast as well. I have a podcast called Fitness Empire with my co-host Matt Wilbur, and we talk all things gym ownership. So those are all the different ways you guys can connect with me after the show.
Excellent. Dustin, I want to thank you so much for being a guest today, sharing your story and those amazing tips about building culture, and also how to connect and do. The richest is in the follow-ups. I love that you are helping the gym owners deal with that. So thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thank you, Phil, and much love to you, man, and your audience. Appreciate you and everything you do to help the entrepreneur community.
That's so kind. To my audience, you know what the rules are. In the show notes, you'll find all the links to connect with Dustin. Make sure you go check that out. Follow him if you want. If you're a gym owner, make sure you follow him, because he can help you find that extra dollar bills that are just laying around in the follow-up. So again, Dustin, thank you again for being here. And my audience, remember to invest in yourself. Hold on. remember to invest in yourself.